Okay. Okay, so in theory, this is my first trial of connecting Zoom to Restream. So we're having the Zoom. Happy New Year, Joe. Hey, Richard. Um, we're having the Zoom go out as normal, but we're live streaming in theory to YouTube. If you can check, guys, the Facebook page and my Twitter. So we will see how that is going shortly. Don't think the quality is very good. I think didn't set that up properly. Our resolution's 1280 by 720. Okay. Happy New Year, Richard. Looking forward to 2026 in particular with the app release and everything else. Should be pretty good. Let me sort this out a second. It would be great if just one of you could check on the YouTube and the Facebook page to make sure that is working. Let's have a quick look. Looks like we're live on YouTube anyway. That's good. So I want to do quite a lot more of these. I already did a quick live stream on Monday. And then obviously today we're going to do some stocks predator and maybe some live trading. I don't know. Depends on how things go, I suppose. Thanks, Richard. Yeah. Melvin. Hey, Mel. How you doing? Happy New Year. Sahel. Happy New Year. Quality doesn't seem too bad. Oh, it's not brilliant on YouTube. Need to work on that, I think. 1280 by 2720 resolution. Could that be any better? I don't know. So we're going to start now. It's at the top of the hour, but I'll probably stay for more than the normal hour, depending on day trading. Don't think we've got anything really. I just want to move that off the screen a second. Don't think we've got too much going off right now as far as setups on any forex or futures. We do have data at 10 a.m. EST, so that probably be the um, the catalyst for moves. So it might be a little late for me. But we'll see how it goes. By the way, my flights have been cancelled to Dubai this weekend because of the snowstorm impending and the flight delays and everything like that. Um, so I'm not going now till next Wednesday, Thursday. Restroom settings might need adjusting. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look into it. Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple of some scans on the stocks predator first. Let's start the year off. Also, I'm going to look at Elliott wave scans, also confluence scans as well. So I know some people only have the Advantage membership, but then others do have the next level, which includes the Elliott wave scanner, Elliott wave indicator suite, and very soon harmonic patterns and a harmonic pattern scanner, which will be very cool. Okay, so well, first of all, we got the end of day scanner. I'm going to look for confluence 3 green. I'm looking for some bulls really because uh, we've had a good start to the year, and I think that that pullback may be over as far as I'm concerned. So we're going to look at these now. Um, with the confluence, we've got 40 that are pretty good. I'm going to go for a beta over 1 to try and whittle that down and filter it out a little bit. Um, just checking, we've got 4 out of 5 on GBP Japanese yen. That could be a reasonably good trade. Sorry, I'm just going to check. There's some fresh air. Okay. We are still having some issues with some new technology on there that we're testing at the moment, but we'll see. Okay, so I've wheedled it down to 17 now, 17 stocks for full confluence for bullish. So let's have a scan through these and see anything that really sort of catches my attention. That's had some reasonably good lows recently. So first one. Okay, so let's have a look at this weekly zones. Um, I think this is going to be my first zone here. Okay, so I've taken this pivot here. We've got another similar pivot there, and we can see this pivot here. So I've identified the top and the lower bound of that weekly support and resistance zone. I want to see where we are right now, price action wise, in case there is anything that's going to get in the way. Only one pivot there. That's huge for the support that it found. That is back from 2023. Okay, so far as I'm concerned, that's the operational landscape on the weekly. Okay, so now we're going to take this trade. We need a minimum risk to reward. So entry would be above the high. What we're doing pre-market. Okay, we're flat. Entry would be above the high of yesterday. Stop is down below here. So risk to reward isn't good enough for me. I'm just going to measure it and show you. We're only 1 to 1 to the next support and resistance zone. So although it looks a reasonably sensible trade, I like a minimum reward of 1 to 1.6, just the way I am. Okay. So I discount that one. Simple. This doesn't look too bad because we've got Elliott wave, although it was quite a sort of a deep pullback, we did find support at this weekly channel. So I'm not going to trade the Elliott wave here, but now I've got full confluence. There could be a reasonably good trade. So I'm going to go on weekly. Just make sure I've got the right zones in because I've worked on this before, obviously. I think we're pretty clear all the way up to that sort of point here. So we'll go back to the daily. Okay. So this is just that small wave 3 pivot. So it is, I would say, probably more like a daily zone. So I'm just going to change that. I have daily in sort of gray and I have weekly in this pinky purpley color. Okay. I'm not, my risk to reward really is to 480 to this middle of this fifth wave target zone. So when I've got that on my chart, there's a good possibility it's going to go and hit this sort of zone, but I need to be at least 1 to 1 to where this previous wave 3 pivot is. That's my rule. So I'm going to look at a stop just underneath here. entry above the high of yesterday. Okay, so this is just setting up reasonably right. Is it optionable? Yes. So Mel, this is optionable as well. AVAV, AeroVironment. It is optionable. I would say target of $480 strike price if you was going to have a look at that. Stops just underneath here around about 22273. Entry, what we're doing pre-markets pretty close to the high of yesterday. So this could go in pretty quickly today. So you're talking around 319 or 320, 320, just over 320. Okay. Just be aware there could be a little bit of resistance at that wave three here. So what I'm going to do is just going to take a screenshot of that in the journaling function on the Stocks Predator. So what I've done for any new users is on the actual ticker itself, there's this little red box to the left. If I click on that, it opens up my journaling for that. I press this button here, excuse me, and it takes a screenshot. So a few notes for me. Risk reward 1 to 1.6. Full confluence strategy swing trade. Entry 32018 with target at 480. Time up stop to risk free around 418. So basically, when it gets to that sort of price, if it gets to that sort of price, we're at that 1 to 1 point where that previous wave three pivots. That pivot, this wave four pullback's been very deep. So we want to make sure we're at least risk free, or if we've got an opportunity and it's a reasonably good profit, hey, let's just take the profit. Entirely up to you. So I've done that. Just going to share it to my Paul's main watch list. So all of our subscribers, and again, there's a training video on this. When you subscribe to the Stocks Predator, you get access to my watch list. Okay, so that's now on the watch list, that AVAV. So that's a reasonably good confluence trade there, actually. Let's have a look at some of the rest. And I know, Mel, you will also look at an options play for that and probably put that in the closed channel on the Discord group for the Stocks Predator subscribers. Not a lot of risk to reward up to there on that one. Where are we? Yeah. I need fresh air to trade into. Same with that one. Ooh, that looks a bit messy as well. No. That gapped up yesterday. There's room for it to go, but there's major resistance here. So again, instead of just talking about it, I'm just going to draw the lines to show you. We've got this pivot here and this pivot. So what I'm looking at on a weekly is, I'm going to change that to purple in a minute, or pink. So I'm looking at all of this support here, resistance into here, support, support, resistance, big zone of price there. That's what's going to keep me out of this trade, okay? Because this is where we're going to be entering now. So even though we've got a good confluence strategy, and we actually gapped up yesterday and closed at the highs, pre-market, not doing anything right now, but there are a lot of things working against this trade. I'd rather take the path of least resistance. Okay, that's part of trading. So let's go through the rest of these. A lot of clustering around there, not a lot of fresh air. That doesn't look too bad on ENOD. Let's have a look on the weekly. Okay, really good support and resistance zone here, and this current pullback did find support. Hang on a sec. Thanks, Richard. I'll look into that for next time. Risk to reward. We might have something here. So stop just below there. Entry above the high of yesterday. Close. 1 to 1.5, something like that. It's not bad. It is optionable as well, Mel. Short interest is a little high at 15.5%. You can see that here. Pre-market, pretty close to the close yesterday. Okay. Almost sold on this. What's the S&P doing on pre-market? Oh, a lot of resistance on that. Been very flat overnight. NQ, YM, all the same. So stop around $47. Entry would be a 66 or just over 66, I think. High yesterday was 65.27, so just over 66 would be probably good. I think if you're going options, you need strike price of around between 90 and 95, depending on what's available, Mel, I think. That sort of area. So yeah, I like this. Okay, so I'm going to put, again, I'm going to journal this, take a screenshot, confluence setup, risk to reward 1 to 1.5, entry through $66 with stop at 47. I think that's all I need to write, really. That's pretty cool. That's good. I'm just going to add this to my main watch list. Okay, success. Let's have a quick look through the rest. Oh, there's a lot of room on this one. Okay, drawing support and resistance zones isn't that difficult, guys. We're joining up the dots. I don't know what you called it in the US, but in the UK, when I was a kid, it was called dot to dot, and you joined up the dots to make a picture. And this is all I'm doing here. I'm taking this pivot up for the low of this support and resistance zone. I'm taking this pivot for the high, and I'm checking there's other pivots testing it. There's one here from the bottom. Okay, we've got a lot of clustering around here. This is a good support and resistance zone. We do have another, which is this low pivot here and the recent high pivot. Okay, that's my operational landscape for this very cheap stock. Let's go on to the daily now. So I've got full confluence. The roller coaster was quite a while ago, but it didn't break the stop for the roller coaster. We had that initial 5-star. We've just got a 6-star buy here, which is good. So stop would be just below here. Entry around there. Okay, so above this pivot, outside of the weekly zone. So our risk to reward is 1 to 1.6. Pretty good for me. Is there any problems? It's very cheap stock. I probably wouldn't. It's definitely not optionable. I would probably just buy this actually. It's you got an entry at 280, to 289. Stop at 213, target 4.2. Simple. One of those ones, if it does push through that resistance, you could turn a swing trade into a potential investment, depending on the volume that comes in. So with the volume, we would add the manager to those moves. So the manager is also on the stocks predator for that next level. So stocks predator, we have the advantage membership, which a lot of people are on, and they have that Confluence scanner. But the premium membership has the Elliott Wave scanner, the manager, the EMA cloud, and very soon the auto harmonics as well. So there is that as well. Let's turn that off. So this looks pretty good as well, actually. So I'm just going to bring that back a little here. Okay, just to zoom in a bit. Just move them up out of the way. Let's journal this one. Take a screenshot. Confluence setup. Risk to reward over 1 to 1.6. Entry long. We said 282. 282. Now this is a cheap stock, the volume might be reasonably low. So when you put an order in with your broker, you may not be filled at that exact price, depending on who wants to sell. Okay. With stop at, we said 218, didn't we? 218. I'll just check that in a minute. 218. Initial target of 420. Check volume at or around target to convert to possible investments. Okay. Let me add that to my watch list. That should come through. I know Mel, Richard, you are a subscriber. I know Sohail is, but I don't know whether you've watched the videos and set up that alert for my watch list. But please do check it. So that's a good one as well. Let's just go quickly through the rest. We can do some Elliott Wave scans as well. Wow. Okay. keep finding potentials here. Before I do anything, just going to check the risk to reward on this one. That looks good as well. Oh, I'm just finding too many. Deary me. Well, weekly, obvious. This was a sextuplet top. Not going to put a weekly there because that's just a high pivot, all-time high. We do have a very strong channel here, bullish channel. So when I'm drawing a bullish channel, I've taken in 1, 2 pivots, 3 pivots on the bottom. So usually either the upper or lower bound of a channel will have multiple pivots. The other one may only have one. But when I'm also looking at that, I'm looking for a lot of clustering support and resistance around this center line. Let's just change the color of that center line to yellow and make it a little thicker. Okay. So you can see here all this clustering. That's almost like your median of the trend, if you like. But that looks good. So on the daily, yes, we have this previous pivot, wave 3 pivot, but I'm really looking for a 5th wave target on this one. Very expensive stock. This one would be an options play. Thanks, Richard. Yes, the list has updated. Brilliant. So this is an options play, monolithic power systems. Pre-market, we are down from the high of yesterday, just it's around 994. So there is an opportunity if it breaks the high of yesterday to go long options. I will not be trading this. This is way too expensive for me, especially this time of year. With a strike price of around 1,225 mil. So again, I'm going to put this, I'm going to do this as an options play, but if you can, when you get time, have a look at it and put it in the forum for the options play here. So let's just do a bit of journaling here. Let's take a screenshot. So Confluence setup using Elliott wave, 5th wave target of 1,225 as strike price for options play. Target price. Okay. Entry would be a move through yesterday, which was the 6th January. Hi. 2 of my son's birthdays today. Different ages. One's 34, one's 30, but both born on the same day. And they're both at work. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough for that one. I'm going to add that to my main watch list. Okay. Picking up some good Confluence potentials. There's another one. Wow. Okay. And that's had a good wave 4 pullback as well. Let's just measure that wave 4. Fib retracement. I just want to get rid of a lot of these. 0.9. 1.4. Again, these are in the training videos on YouTube for measuring Elliott wave oscillator between 90 and 140%. False breakout stochastic on that bullish move. This is a fantastic opportunity. Let's look at that risk to reward. What's the low on that wave for? 49.86, 49.72, 53.32 entry. Well, 1 to 1.6 top end of that zone. I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Make sure I've got nothing on the weekly that's going to ring any alarm bells. That's just one pivot. This pivot here, there's nothing. This support was good here though. Recent support, which was that for the fourth wave pullback on the daily. Resistance here, support here. This looks pretty good as support to back up this pullback, and we can understand why that happened. We go back to the daily and we can see that confluence. Now, I'm just going to also put on an EMA cloud. Yeah, just the EMA cloud. Let me just take the manager off a second. So the EMA cloud, the 55 EMA cloud, again, that's part of that premium setting. What we've got is we've got a confluence of a weekly support zone in the green pullback zone for the Elliott wave, and also this non-linear with the 55. So we use a 55 EMA cloud and an 89 when I'm swing trading. And you'll notice these are really, really hot. Okay, look at this previous, really, really good. So what we've got is, just go back off here a second. Hang on, just check these app alerts, see what's going off. YM, keep your phone close. A lot of fresh air on that one. Just going to get a order ticket ready just in case. Stop market. Bear with me a sec, guys. I'm just switching to my Confluence setup here. I'm going to just look on YM a second. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for a VWAP predator. Okay. So those that want to get an order ticket ready, your stop would be around about 49,717-ish. Okay. So the risk here is 49 ticks-ish. It's 49 ticks from here to here. By the time if we get an entry, maybe something like 55, 60 ticks. So that's quite, I mean, for me, that's 4 contract trade for me on YM. It's a nice small risk, but we'll see if we do get that last piece of the puzzle. So let's just move that away. So with NMM, this looks pretty good. We got a lot of confluence here. We've had the wave 4 pullback. It's been corrective. Came back and tested the 55 EMA cloud again for that higher low on this move up. We've got a fifth wave target zone. If you're trading options, it is optionable. Would be $59 strike price, top end of there. Entry would be through the high of yesterday, so we're talking around 53.33, and the stop would be 49.31, just underneath our weekly zone. So that's Let's journal this one as well. Okay, take a screenshot. I'll read this out in a minute. It's easier for me to type without speaking. I said 53.33 entry. Stop. And oh, is it now 49.33? I think 49.33. Target in fifth wave of 59 bucks. Oops. Okay. So Confluence set up from the Confluence scanner, but also there's full Confluence with the Elliott wave setup. So it's behaved normally. The wave force found support in that green zone. The Elliott wave oscillator has gone between 90 and 140. There's been a false breakout stochastic on the top, denoting a really strong bullish trend. I'm going fast because it's just bum bum bum. Then it's pulled back against there and crossed over in the oversold zone. It's like an elastic band. It wants to return to that main bullish false breakout stochastic in that overbought zone. So then we've got confluence of linear and non-linear support. So we've got that linear from the confluence of that support from the green zone, the fib pullback zone from the Elliott wave, the weekly linear support and resistance zone, and the 55 EMA cloud, which is that non-linear support. So really, really strong. And so I just got a typo there. So 53.33 entry, stop at $59. Boom, done. Let's add that to my main watch list. Oh, London Stock Exchange trade here. I don't like this rejection. Let's have a look at that on the manager. Yeah, I am not liking this at all. Okay, it probably will go back to test that, but that's just a little bit concerning for me. So I'm not going to go there. Let's just switch the MA clouds off a minute and the manager. What we got going off here? Expensive stock, but is optionable. Let's have a look at the weekly. My first port of call is see where we are on the weekly zones. What's occurring? That's potentially where we need to be on the weekly there. That's where we need to be. So pivot, resistance, support into here, bounces off, support into here, bounces off. This is on the weekly. And now we've got this potential on the daily. So we go back to the daily and we look and measure the risk reward. It's not good enough. We've got to go. I'm always looking for a start line that's not been tested, which is here. Okay. So that high was 538.94. So we need to be something like 540.02 with a stop just underneath here, roller coaster stops here. So we need to be just underneath that weekly zone. Do the work. Operational landscape on the weekly. We're only 1-to-1. Walk away. Not interested. Too many pivots on the way up here. No good. No bueno. Too late. And I don't like it anyway. It's way too late. Okay, so that's some confluence trades, potential setups that we've got there. Now I'm going to look at the alley wave scanner. So I'm going to filter looking for longs, and I want a fourth wave pullback within 5 candles. Okay, so we'll quickly go through these and see if we've got any potential trades. First one, pharmaceuticals. Okay, so some of the things we need to do straight away when we look at Elliott wave, we need to look at the retracement of the Elliott wave oscillator. Not quite there yet. Pretty close. Let's just go to the weekly. See where we are. Support and resistance wise. We've got a bigger one up here. Joining the dots. So here we got this pivot and this recent pivot as well. Probably bring that down to that rejection there. Nothing else in the weekly. Go to the daily. We've got a lot of room, but have we got enough room to trade? Got false breakout stochastic, denoting a really strong bullish trend. Good. Pulled up against it and crossed over in the oversold zone against it. Oscillator's not quite with us now. We do have full confluence on the bias depth heat map. So this would have to be an aggressive entry. Let's have a look at the regression trend channel. Just gonna have a drink in a minute. Okay, that's 97%. So this was a really orderly wave 4 pullback. So on this, you'll see the Pearson's R for this regression trend channel. I don't know where you can see it, is 0.9712734, blah, blah, blah. So that's 97%. Anything over 90% on a wave 4 pullback is good. Okay. So entry outside of the 6-4 moving average high at 27.10. Stop. The low is 25.56 of the wave 4, so 25.51. What we got on the risk reward? Close, but not close enough. So if I was to take this, only one of my rules can be broken. Okay. I need a minimum of 1 to 1.6 risk reward, but my oscillator has still not pulled back between 90 and 140%. So that's 2. Yeah. Stochastic's good. We've got confluence with this pullback into a weekly zone, found support into that green zone, green stroke amber on the wave 4 pullback. But the sensible entry, that entry strategy I have all the time above that 6-4 moving average high, basically gives me a risk reward of 1 to 1.3 into that 5th wave target zone. So I've got 2 things working against me there. I could let 1 go, but not 2. So not interested. Too late. That has been a meandering wave 4, not interested. So with wave 4s, I like 7 to 10 candles. YM is a go. Okay. Too late. Did I miss it? I was too busy talking. All systems green. Whoa. A lot of fresh air. I'm going to have to go 3 contracts, market order, buy. Why is that not shown on there? Chart trader. Bear with me a sec, guys. Order fill. Three, market, buy. Order fill. Placement stop. Order fill. I gone 715 with my stop. The app says 717. The app is right, but I've gone 715. I'm going to put an initial target at 499.50 just in case. So yeah, I'm in on the YM trade. Did like I did yesterday. I'm just going to show you a screenshot. It's easier than dragging it over because it's a different resolution. A little late, but it's okay. So yeah, I'm in on YM 49715 stop. Just I'll give myself a little buffer there. Move that out of the way. That's too late. That's fine. Let's get going on this. Find some decent Elliott wave trades. Was a great long earlier. Dutch stock, no. No. Did hang on to that fourth wave target zone. Got resistance up there. Just trying to get through this really quickly. This is a bit of a gappy stock. Volume's not brilliant on here. You can see all these gaps here. That puts me off straight away. False breakout at the bottom here, not interested. CVNA, I did this live. I can't remember. I actually posted it into Reddit and loads of people ridiculed me saying it was going to keep going down. And so I did it. I think I did a post here when I said the wave 4 needed to come down to test this zone, and it did, and it's moved up again. So I tell you guys, Reddit's full of haters, but it is what it is. But yeah, this was good. So we had so let's go big on here a second. So we did have this confluence of daily and weekly zones here. Wave 4 found good support, and then the last couple of days it's moved up. My risk reward is 1 to 1.6 into the fifth wave target zone because I'm already in. The only rule that wasn't there was the oscillator. Okay, we had a false breakout stochastic, crossed over in the oversold zone. We got 6 out of 6 on the bi-step heat map. Got lots of confluence on support. Really, really good. Yeah. So for me, that was a good setup. Only one rule broken. And I think if you look at this here, this was my first journal entry on the 2nd of the 1st. And you can see here the wave 4 need to come back. I don't think I can make this any bigger on here. But anyway, that was that first entry on the 2nd of the 1st. And this is where we are now. Okay, so this is a good one. Is it optionable? Yes, it is optionable. So if you were going to trade this options, you'd have a 510, 520 strike price, depending on what's available there. So that's pretty good. Let's have a look at some of the others. Okay, this looks interesting. So my first port of call, always measure. Not quite there. Crossed over in the oversold zone. Let's go to the weekly. There are my zones. Oh, near the highs. Okay, so we've got these pivots here on the weekly. That's all we need. Daily. So again, we got, and this is no coincidence. It's confluence, okay? Where we have this pullback finding support on this wave 4 pullback on this current trend, it's found support on a previous weekly zone, very strong zone of price. So this is, this is looking pretty good. So without putting the risk reward on first, where would my sensible entry be? I can see it testing the weekly here, coming up, rejecting, coming deeper, and then coming back up again. I need my entry above this pivot here, okay? The low on that wave 4 is 42.48. So 42.43. What's my risk to reward? Not quite there. Remember, only one rule broken, and my oscillator's not pulled back enough. And I haven't got a minimum of 1 to 1.6 risk reward. So this, I think what I'm going to do is just going to make a journal entry. Wait out. Dijon return there. Uh, Looking for oscillator pullback to confirm. Yeah. So that's for me. It's there. I'm just going to add it to my watch list. Yeah, there we go. Let's go through the rest. Too late. Wow. Boom. 4 days. Wow. That was good. This is my first day look this year looking looking at stocks. So just going through these to Gappy ETF. No, no. Oh, I'm just going to go back to that one. So I'm going to go free form here if I can. I don't know whether you can draw freehand on here. No. I mean, oh, I can draw a curve. Okay. So on a pullback, if we get this sort of profile here on this curve, um, the likelihood is to return on a fourth wave move is very, very difficult. Okay, just want to get that out of the way a second. It was such an overarching pullback. It's not brilliant. Okay, so let me just delete that. That's why I'm not going to have a look at that. So with Elliott wave, sometimes it needs more data, although it's pulled um, it's pulled in on the scanner. On the chart, you just need to, technical term here, scrunch up. Okay, so it gets enough data to show that wave 4 pullback, and that's what it is. So straight away, I'm not interested in this trade. Why? Look at that Elliott wave oscillator. Broken the rules. Okay, this is quite a complex pullback. It's a correctional pullback. Too much. If it comes up on um, the confluence scanner for a potential long, I will probably look at it again. But right now, as far as Elliott wave is concerned, I'm not interested. Ooh, this looks nice. Let's just check that that's very close on the oscillator. Let's go to weekly a second. Oof. So we've got a really great weekly zone here. Um, so what I'm doing on the weekly zone is taking these tests of what I say is the lower bound, test of the upper bound. Look at that test there as well. Really strong weekly zone. What have we got at the top here? We've got another weekly zone, which will be sort of really where our target will be on a weekly. Okay, so pivots, pivots, pivots. Go to the daily. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty good. Let's have a look at the regression trend channel. Highest point in the wave 3 to the wave 4 low. And we have a Pearson's R of 91.87%. So that's pretty good. So in this sort of situation here, my risk reward is important. So entry for me would be outside of this regression trend channel. So I need to, the yesterday's regression trend channel is there. So I think an entry when today's is printed, that would be a sensible entry there. It would be also outside of the 6-4 moving average high, which is good. Stop would be, I think, let's be sensible here, below that weekly. I've got a lot of risk reward there. This one's not optional, by the way. Oh, loads of risk reward there. Not that expensive either. What's he doing pre-market? Nothing. Take a drink. Five minutes to oil pit open. Could affect the YM trade. Maybe, not sure. Depends. There's a lot gone off with oil recently. But I think we're over the biggest sort of area of that. So this looks good. To be honest, this is the best setup today so far. This support does need to hold, but again, look at the average bar range of price on the greens. The likelihood it's going to be taken in today is probably around 40%. We do get some big moves, these big green candles here, but I'm looking average. Even if this finds support today, may not trigger, it may be tomorrow. You've got to be careful when you're using stock market orders with stocks, swing trading in particular. You've got to keep an eye on what's doing pre-market. You don't want it to gap up way above where you're going to be. Okay. So when you set your stock market order with your broker, and it changes depending on what broker you're using. With me, with Saxo, for example, I can do a plus or minus. So if I put a stock market order there, and for this sort of stock, this sort of price, maybe plus or minus $1.50, because I've got a big risk reward, would be good. So if it does gap up above that and it's within $1.50 of my stock market order price, it will take it. So you just got to be a little bit sort of aware of what's going off pre-market. But yeah, this looks pretty good actually. So what I'm going to do is journal it. Take a screenshot. Elliott Wave scanner setup. This is where I found it. The other ones were from the Confluence setup. Good. Pearson's are on wave 4 pullback. wave for support at weekly zone. Oscillator, not quite yet. Risk to reward, 1 to 1 point, no, 1 to 2.5. Wow, 1 to 2.5. Entry, we said was, let me just close that a second, 59.32. With stop at, it's a bit wonky, that is, 53.48. 3.48. Fifth wave target at $75. Make risk free after $65. So when I've got over 1 to 1, $65, I'm going to make it risk free through $65. Management strategy TBC. Okay. And let's add that to my main watch list. Yeah, it's a good one. Let's have a look at the rest. How many? We've got 100. Oh, I'm going to look all through all of those. Frog. Well, I like the sound of that. Is that good? No, it's not good. Let's just quickly scroll through, see if I can see anything that catches my eye. This does. First mid bank shares. Okay, let's go through the process again. Fib retracements. Wow, that's pretty good. Let's go to the weekly. Quite wide channel, but it's very good. Okay. I'm just going to move that channel. So sensible entry again will be above these wicks here, around about 40.20. Stop. The low is 37.82, so a 37.75. Risk to reward. It's there. We can be risk-free at the 1-1 as it's approaching the third wave. This did hold on to the red pullback zone, so that's 75%. It's going to go and hit the fifth wave target zone, so that looks pretty decent. Not optionable though. Cheap stop. Okay, let's journal this one. Take a screenshot. Elliott wave scanner setup. Wave 4, pullback rolls, all okay. Put false breakout on the bottom here as well on the stochastics, crossed over lovely. Everything's looking pretty good. I know it was quite deep. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. Between 7 and 10 days, guys. Okay. That's good. Risk reward to Elliott wave fifth target is 1 to 1.6. Risk free as approaching third wave. Pivot. Entry at 40.20 it was. With stop at my memory's going. 37.74 will do. Target 44.50. Okay, will do for now. Add that to my main watch list. Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, we have jolts in, it's not quite a long time yet. I'm hoping we get this bullish momentum to continue. I know YM's in a little bit of profit right now, but we would obviously try and take it through the open, and we'd like the stop to print we're on a 34 EMA. Indicators. Four. Get a bit more bullish momentum there. We could see that being risk-free before jolt, so we can make a decision before then. Okay. So with the confluence, what we're looking at here is just quickly go through our starting point really is the roller coaster. We then get a backup from a 5-star buy signal on the xBrat algo. By that time, we're 6 out of 6 on the buyer stepped heat map, and then we get our momentum from the VWAP Predator, and that is when we go long. That's when we went long there. What was my entry? 497.97. 497.97. Yeah, I was a bit late because I was talking on here. But yeah, let's just sync in that layout. Okay, a bit late, but it was okay. FMBH, done that one. ETF. Have we got a good ETF that's not gappy? No, it's going to be too late, I think. Yeah. Yeah, we're too late on that one. That was a good move. Hit the fifth wave target zone, come back down, corrected and testing again. There's no trade there. That doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look at that oscillator first. Very close. Over the weekly. Doing the same thing over and over again, guys. It's boring, but that's how you got to trade. Okay. This is a long-term bullish trend on the weekly. Wow. I'm going to put that in first. For me, the center line is very important on a trend channel. Look at all these tests here. That bullish trend started in 23. We do have this here as a weekly zone, which is important because the bottom end of that zone is in confluence with that, the top end of that channel here. Channel's taking pivot, pivot here, pivot in the bottom, 2 pivots, 3 pivots, 4 pivots on the bottom, very strong. Yes, it did dip out. That happens, but it returned back into the main trend. Weekly wise, we've got another one here. And that will do us for where we are now. That sheds another light, doesn't it, guys? Because we've got to go above this pivot here, which is on the center line. No walk away. Stochastic's not crossed over, not even going to do any work on that. Stochastic not crossed over. That looks good. Seven measure of the oscillator. Yep, that's just crossed over through the 90. Have a look at the weekly. Been very scrappy in the past, hasn't it? Don't like scrappy. Too much in the way for me there. False breakout on the bottom there. That trend is going to break. So if you were, yeah, regional banks are hot right now. Mel, definitely. See, with this one, I'm not shorting this early in the year, but if this trend breaks, we've got a false breakout on the bottom here. I would look for a sort of reversal here and trade a short down to this point. And in my book, I talk about shorting to feed the investing pot, but I'm not in the right mindset to get that going just yet. I've got a lot on my plate. JP Morgan, no, no, it's not too bad. Kearney Financial Corp. There you go. There's another one, Mel. Oscillator's not got it, but I think we've got a good regression trend channel there, and possibly for a yeah, we got 95% there. Let's go to the weekly a second. just to check where we are on zones. Major zone for me is there. And there. Daily. Good. Looks very good. Not optionable, but it's a cheap stock. Entry above that pivot at 757. It's outside the 6-4 moving average high. The low on that is 726 on the wave 4, so a 725 or 724, something like that. 724. Risk to reward. Oh, yes. This looks good. Let's journal this one. Screenshot. Toward the fifth wave is 1 to the middle, 1 to 1.8. Entry, we said, oh, my memory is really going at the moment. 757. $724 stop. The target's 815. So I've just put a note on there for myself to just check that volume if and when we get to that fifth wave target zone. So I could potentially turn this swing into a longer term trade, or at least, let me amend that, at least to the next weekly level at 855. Okay, let me add that to my main watch list. Take another drink. Depends the time frame. Yeah, the last two candles, have a look. So on the 5 minute, it's not coming down with a lot of volume right now. So that's one thing. And what we got until the open, got 14 minutes to the open. What is NQ doing? NQ trying to push through resistance at the moment. RTY is in fresh air, pulling back slightly. ES again trying to push through resistance. I think depending on, I don't know what earnings we've got today. And depending on how the market opens, depending on how that will push, I think, or not. But so far, each candle on the 5 minute has less volume than the previous candle. So we're about halfway through this current candle right now. So price action slowed down. Volume is still less at this moment in time on this particular candle. So, there's no need to panic right now. So yeah, KRNY, another good looking trade. Pretty on the Ks at the moment. Does that close that gap? Oh, nearly. That's optionable as well. That's very close, isn't it? Almost. Let's go to the weekly. Okay. That's a daily zone here. It did, it touched it. Wow. Okay. So I've just, for the bottom of the zone, I've done the bottom of the previous fifth wave target that it clustered around. And then obviously we've had earnings. When's the next earnings not even out yet? So we've had that catalyst. We've had that wave four pullback and basically close that gap into that resistance. So that looks pretty good. Regression trend channel. It's crap. Okay. And that's purely because of the gap up, because it calculates the wave three coming up and then the wave four pullback. And obviously we've had the big gap there, but it's come to close the gap. Okay. I don't know whether I can change the color on the 6-4 moving average high. Let me have a look. I can. There we go. Let's change it to white. Make it a bit thicker. Okay. So my entry needs to be above here. I'm going to go, there's this pivot here as well. We've got to be careful of that. So I'm probably going to go reasonably conservative here with a move through $80. Okay. And if you're trading options with this, Mel, I think with a strike price of around $114, between 112 and 116, a move through initially through $80 will be a good sign to then enter some sort of options trade there. Got to be sensible here. Stop just below the wave four pivot, risk to reward 1 to 2.6. Loads of risk to reward there. I'll just do this oscillator for you. Did that out of turn. Do apologize for the OCD people. Wow. That's been quite an orderly pullback. Let me have a look on the volume on the manager for that. Yes. So we did have that rejection of the highs after the gap up, and then we've had some profit taking. And that's orderly profit taking. And I'll tell you why. We've had all the down candles have had no higher than average volume. They've all been lower than average volume and mainly cyan. We then get a green candle yesterday, the wave four, closed near the highs with higher than average volume. High volume rejection of those lows after it's closed that gap. That's pretty cool. If you want to be aggressive, entry through 78. But for me, I just want to make sure this move goes. We can monitor this over the next couple of days and make sure that volume starts to increase and we start to move up. So for me, um, I think that's a sensible entry there, just to make sure we got some momentum. A friend of mine from Dubai's just at London now. They're getting before the snowstorm, I think. They're leaving back for Dubai today. But my flight's not till Sunday. It's been cancelled already because I fly via uh, Amsterdam. So it's been reorganized for next Wednesday. So let's journal this. I like this. So again, Elliott wave scanner setup. Gap fill to form fourth wave. Orderly profit taking wave for pullback after gap. All Elliott wave rules, Elliott wave 4 rules met. Risk reward 1 to 2.6. Entry through $80 with stop at 66.92 and target $114. Okay, close that, add that to my main watch list. God, everybody's pinging me now. Problem is with my live streaming, guys, I still have other things to do as well. So sometimes I have to look at these. Okay. We're picking some good stocks today. Nope. This is that overarching wave forward. Can you see that again? Let me draw another nice little cute curve. Okay. Turn that white, make it thicker. So it's an overarching wave forward pullback. Don't like them. I like them nice and linear. Okay. Oh, that's quite a complex pullback there. What's the oscillator like? Oscillator's good. We've got no false breakout on the bottom so far. However, entry would have to be above this pivot. When you get a complex correction during a wave 4, you've got to go above that pivot. So if we just do a quick risk reward, it won't be good enough. No. So walk away. Too late. That's an overarching one as well. I don't like it. Stochastic's not pulled back yet. Oh no, it's very gappy. Way too complex. No. Oh, that gap fill's going to break the it's not going to break the internet. It's going to break that. You see how we get these gaps on this particular stock? This must be I don't know what it is, but gap almost gap fill, come down, gap. No. The short float on that stock as well, there's 20%. Not a chance. Now that ain't not too bad, but my risk to reward on here it's not going to be good because we've got to go above that high there. Oh, no, it's only 1 to 1. Not interested. Overarching German stock there. Whoa, no wait. It's not, I don't mind ugly looking stocks. I just have rules. Okay. Um, I didn't have so many rules when I was a young shop soldier dating, but I don't like ugly stocks that have certain things going off with them. It's got a The pullback is so important when you're looking at Elliott Wave. It's so important. Entry is very, very important. Again, here, when you look at this low pivot here to this high pivot here, the risk reward just isn't there. Okay, you just got to have a rule to walk away. London stock here, too late for that. I haven't requested anything yet on the stocks Predator Mel because the development team are working hard on the harmonic patterns and the harmonic pattern scanner. And I don't want to detract them from that because it's literally been 3 months work just on that one update. So we gotta just gotta be a little bit patient there. Sorry if I didn't see that question straight away. So about 17 ticks in profit on YM right now. It is pushing up again. We've got the open any minute. How did NQ do? Not really moving. RTY. Okay. We're not going to get the stop or just update, I don't think, before it's getting close. We'll just watch this through the open. It opens in 20 seconds anyway. See, we just get the volatility out of the way the first 15 minutes of the open, and then we get this data 15 minutes later. It's so yeah, the data we have today is PMI. ISM, you got the PMI, got a lot of stuff going off here. Okay. Ooh, 30 ticks, 34, 35, 40, 40, 50 ticks profit. Mal, you must have had all the target two. Yeah, your target two's hit now. What's NQ doing? That's pushing through resistance. ES not quite through resistance yet. Very scrappy. Always the same. This first 15 minutes when we get there open. Target three here. Well done, Mel. This is on the YM trade. We set that up earlier on in the session with full call. Wow. Okay. Almost $1,000 in profit on that now because I got 3 contracts. Fly me to the moon. Yeah, it's just this first 15 minutes when you get an open is very skitty. And that a lot of that is led by NASDAQ, really. Yeah, $315, $300, Rich, well done. $315, Mel, good trade. Good start to the year, Rich. Mel, very good trade. Get some money in the bank. Okay, let's go back to the stocks. So we were looking at this, weren't we? I think, was it this one? No, entries all wrong. I think I may have pressed a button somewhere. Wow, that reversed. But that's an inverse correlation to an NQ. That's pushing. That's an overarching wave forward pullback. Not interested. Too late. Too deep. No. No. Risk reward's no good there. Another London stock. Overarching. No. We're getting towards the bottom of the pile. We got some good stocks set up today, though. No. No. Not a chance. No. Okay, so we didn't do too bad. So I'm going to go to that. So obviously in the stock spread, you got the things you can make. So the watch list you can make and everything. So they're in there. So my main watch list here, we've added quite a few to it today. So keep an eye on those. Lots of potential trades. More came from the Elliott wave than the Confluence scanner. But we did get a few. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 from 5 from the Confluence scanner, and then the rest were Elliott Wave ones today. So it was pretty good. I do, you know, that combination is very, very good to get a good cross section of different types of trades. And they're all swings, but some of them we made notes in the journal to potentially, I think it was 2 of them, would probably turn into a more of a. I think this was the one. We just check on the journal. Yeah, possible investment in this one, depending on how it performs. So again, looking at that, this was a confluence trade, and basically I said see how it goes when it gets to this sort of level. If the volume starts to peter off, then swing trade, get out. If we get volume going into there and it looks like it wants to push through, we can manage it with a stop, reasonably conservative, but we could then, if it breaks through that $4.5, then there is a good option then to turn that into a longer term investment with a run. Now, will that be new highs? Let me just check. No. So this has, previous highs has been up as much as $13. So there's quite a good upside to this. If it can break through that sort of $4.50 mark, there's a good upside to this in converting that swing into investing. Don't sort of purposely say I'm only going to swing trade everything. Make a decision as and when it approaches the next bit of resistance, which is our initial target. But if we get a lot of volume going into there, we're not getting sort of high volume rejections into that resistance zone, then maybe that's a good indication to convert that, and we'll see at the time. Okay, guys. We have a look. Yeah, so we've done that. I think today we've done quite a bit, an hour and a half, mainly on the stocks predator. It's always good once a week to check in and have a look at what stocks are setting up, or even if it's just once a month when I do these lives, because when we're swing trading or investing every day, you've got to think that we're looking at one candle a day. Things don't happen that fast. It's not day trading. It's you've got time to make decisions, to do your analysis, and it's a lot less stressful. It's good for your blood pressure and everything else. So let's wait around for the data. We may as well. I'm just going to switch off my camera, take a comfort break, and I'll be back. So if anyone just comes in and says, "Where is everybody?" Just be there. So what I'm going to do for now is just leave that chart set on. I'm going to turn my camera off a second and put myself on mute and take a comfort break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Okay, back. It was quick. You'll notice on these charts some of the where we get US dollar first, like US dollar CAD. I have the range breakout set for the New York Stock Exchange Open. But we do have data. Do I have the data one on this one? Let's have a look. No. So what I want to do with the data is I want to measure the 10 minutes before the data comes out. So I'm measuring the range and the bias 10 minutes before the data comes out. And then I can make a decision to trade the reaction on data. You'll notice now I've put these on my chart. These are the bid and ask. That's the spread for a broker, which is half the range. So you've got to be very careful when you're putting these orders on when you're trading Forex. Currently, the spread is 3, okay, 3 pips, quite large, okay. So you just got to be mindful of that when you're trading Forex. There's too much in the way for a trade on Euro US dollar right now because it's been very range bound. These are the previous zones, but this is the new Guardian zones which is in development for TradingView. These are the previous zones, current zones here. It's too much in the way for a trade there. Same with British pound, US dollar. Let's measure data on here. There is a bit. I'd like a short here on this. Let's just put that on as well. Data 950. So I'm going to measure the 10 minutes before data. Not interested in oil, but I am interested in the S&P. Whoops. Got to change them over. I'm going to take oil off. Put data on. New York Stock Exchange on as well. The spread on that, horrendous. Why is that not moving? So we got very little correlation on. So we got 950 now. No, 45. Okay. Would there be a gold trade on data? Oh, it's very difficult to say there. I've got a bit of support under there. 60-minute there. Nope. US dollar CAD is probably a really good looking short here, depending on the data reaction. We'll have a range form. Swiss franc, maybe. I think they're the only two. Potentially the S&P, potentially. Not overly confident, especially because what we've got going off right now, we've got YM going down and ES and NQ going up. I like all the stars aligned. So it is better that all the indexes are going in the same direction rather than we have that disparity. It means we've got sector rotation, and that data could actually turn things around. So YM's not leading at the moment. YM's doing its own thing. So imagine if you've got a YM short now and all of a sudden data comes out and then it starts to go in the same direction as the other indexes, or vice versa. They all turn around to go. That's very, very difficult to trade when we've got because NQ's going nice. It's RTY and YM that are not good. So we've got really, when we look at the bias, we've got two green and two red. Not good. Small scalp on copper. Well done, Mal. Yeah, still some work to do. We're probably a month out from that. So I think there's a couple of nuances that I'm not happy with, but the developer is working on that now. And then we've got to get it past trading view as well. It's not easy. We're going to hide it under another indicator to begin with, I think. Very difficult for me to look at HG at the moment, Mel, because I'm on this trading view setup. I'd have to set up a new chart and everything. So I'll get that prepped again here. But with trading view, it's my other account that has the live data, which costs nearly $600 a month, by the way. So let's have a look at I've got a HG here. These are all my test ones. But yeah. Let's put that natural gas one up and then change it for HG. A nice setup on HG. Let's just go big on this one chart. Let's get off Ikanashi. Let's go to normal candles. Let's add range breakout. Oh, hang on. That's on swing trading, I think. Yeah. So we don't want Europe. We want London. We don't want gold. We don't want New York, but we want oil. And we want that at 9 a.m. Yes. 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 Yeah, it was good trade, Mel. Yeah. So with copper, as a lot of you know that have known me quite a long time, we get copper. I used to trade copper professionally. So with copper, you look at oil opening range. Yeah. And you look at the London opening range. That opening range breakout for copper with the oil opening range was textbook. It was a great trade, Mel. Mel is actually one of my ex-apprentices. That's why he's trading copper. So yeah, Mel. I think Mel was on my apprenticeship 2 years ago, 3 years ago, can't remember now. But part of that apprenticeship was you got to choose an instrument. Yeah. You can only have one instrument to go through the whole 40 weeks. And Mel chose copper. So he became very intimate and married to copper. So he understands the behavior. And that's the whole point of that, really. So yeah, it was a great trade, perfect trade. I might start jumping back into copper this year. And again, with the app development and all the work, I mean, the project for the app has literally been at some stage 35 different developers. It's been a lot to manage. So my trading has taken a back seat over the last 6 months, really, because that's been my priority. But now we're just about there. Um, I think I think I might start jumping back into copper by the looks of it. It does behave very well. May even add copper to the app. I'll have to do some work on that though with Confluence. We'll see. So we've got the data coming in now, opening ranges for the data. Looks like there's probably a good straddle on for the Canadian dollar, so an each way trade. Um, I think the movement down on Swiss franc has been too much because we've got some support coming with the European Open here and of this big support zone here. So, I mean, the risk reward is quite small for a data breakout. But you see the spread here has gone up. The spread is massive. It's about as big as the opening range. So if we want to put a short on right now with the current price, we've got to have our entry down here. Okay. So it's very, very difficult that trade there. Whereas US dollar CAD looks pretty good. S&P 500 looks pretty good for a long, but we got this rejection here. Spread's quite small there. That's pretty good. We got time here, we've got 5 minutes, but in reality, if we're looking for a stock market buy, we would probably look for something with the spread about there, with a stop loss below the New York Stock Exchange opening range, with the spread is around about there. So a risk of $63 with a take profit sort of, if you want to look for a spike, about a 1-to-1 maybe, something like that. Or if you want to load it up and go for just a spike after data, you just go 10 units with that sort of stop there, maybe even 20 units or whatever, and you just load it up to get a quick scalp. And I'm just going to stick conservative here. What we got left? We've got 5 minutes left. A lot of the time going into data, we don't, the volume just drops a little bit. It's always going, if I come off this chart, for example, and go on to set up a straddle on US dollar CAD, those what I've just put in there will go, but I've got sort of 5 minutes or so. So US dollar CAD for a straddle type trade here, we're going to look for a stock market buy, and that would be with the spread about there, with a take profit in the zone and a stop loss nice and tight below the New York Stock Exchange Open. With the spread, we need to be about there. Okay. And then once you put that order on, we've got to put a stop sell order on for the straddle, because there's going to be well, I say there's going to be a reaction a lot of time. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance up above ES. And a lot of the time we do get a reaction. Sometimes it's neutral, in which case you just cancel the orders. But we've got, what, 3 minutes left. So if I just put that buy on there for now, okay, and then I'm looking for a sell stop. This time I want to be pushing through this pivot with a spread around here. Stop loss around where my entry is for there. And my take profit for the short would be into that zone. Okay. So I can put the sell order on because we're nowhere near there. Okay. So what I've got, I've straddled it's a little wider. We've got the spreads and stuff, but we've got a good range there, and we've got a reasonably good um, trade long and a reasonably good trade short. We're just looking for an instant reaction, really. On this, I've got room up above to resistance, got room down below to support. Really depends on how the US dollar reacts to the data. If it's muted, doesn't go anywhere, just cancel these really quickly. I'll have to cancel the sell first because the stop is hidden behind there. The buy is hidden behind there. If the long goes in, cancel the short. If the short goes in, cancel the long. You know, that's what I'm looking at there. We've got less than 2 minutes. Quite a lot of resistance up on ES. I'm not going to bother with that. Gold spot, I'm only interested here now. So that if this remains yellow, I could be interested in the long only here as a reaction. So buy, stop market. What's the spread like? It's quite small right now. So I'm going to go long above that pivot there, I think. Stop would be here. Take profit into there. Okay. If that goes yellow, yellow is a neutral bias. You could look to the reversal there actually. So yeah, I'm going to put that on now. Okay. Not risking too much. So it looks like it's golden. It got in the long before the data because I was doing stuff with you guys. Bugger, 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 bugger. Okay. I'm going to leave the sell on to look for a reversal if this turns around. I was trying to do too much because I was live with you. In reality, I wouldn't have put that long order on until I got the opening range done. Okay. If it wins, I got lucky. What I don't want to do now is take it off. I have the stop for that long in, and then I have the reversal then there for that. Okay, which is now in support. So there's a long. Data's come out. Cancel the sell. Adjust the stop. We're now risk free. What are we doing on gold? Okay, gold didn't do anything. Cancelling. The straddles, again, I got distracted because I'm trying to do too much. But a straddle is quite simple when we have this quite tight range. It's pretty good to look at, and it's like an each way bet, if you like. Okay, it's like an each way bet for a reaction on data. We've got a bit of short-term resistance here, but then we've got our profit target all the way up here into this confluence of 60-minute and 30-minute zones. The main thing is when we do have a data reaction, we've got to be very, very conscious of being risk-free quite quickly. At this moment in time, although it's saying plus $3.98, look at the size of the spread, okay? That is very close to being a slight loss, okay? If it comes back down and takes me out. That's That's the problem with forex trading, is that every broker is their own market maker and they dictate their own spreads. Spreads over 3 at the moment. So you just have to be aware that they make their money from the spreads. Unlike futures trading, they make their money from giving you a flat fee for going in. Yeah, some of them flat fee going in, going out. These spreads can change with volatility, so you just need to be aware of these spreads when you're trading forex. It's not as simple as trading futures. You can do it with less balance, which is good, and you can obviously, they're leveraged, but you just need to be aware of those spreads because it just tip you out of a trade and it keeps going purely because. So you see the blue line here. When the blue line hits my stop, that's when it'll take me out. Zoom in. There. So the blue line hit my stop, not the current price, the blue line, because that's the spread. Yeah. So this really is important when you are trading forex. Is if this continues to go up now, I know being risk-free needs to be that plus some. Okay, you've got to be really, really careful on that spread. So that particular trade was a break even. But having these lines on your chart is, and look at the spread now. Do you see it dive down there? Look at that, huge. That is being manipulated by the broker. There's no central data like there is with CME and futures. You just got to be very careful when you're forex trading. For me, it was risk-free, and although it said $3.9 profit, it actually wasn't. Okay, it was break even because of the spread. Yeah, it is. This is simple as that, really. To the euro dumped. Yeah, that's not a bad trade. 12 minutes. It's only 10. Wait for this candle to close in 5 minutes. See if it closes above this resistance zone and look for a long into the next one potentially. Oh, YM is really dumping now. RTY the same. NQ indecision doji and ES is dumping as well. Gold not reacting. Just go back to US oil on here. Quite a bit of support under there now. Why is that doing that? Ooh, a lot in the way. London Open is in the way there on oil. Still working out the zones. Once they're on the chart, it's fine, but it's pretty slow to load up. It would need to break the London opening range low to even think about a trade, and then you're your risk reward is only 1 to 1 because your stop's got to be above this zone here, really. No. Could be a call here for reversal on gold. Something like there to there to there. See how this candle closes. I'm looking on futures as well. I think if it breaks the London Open, Mal, it does have room to go down to here for sure. It's just that remember the London opening range for oil does act as support. So if you're going to go short, you're going to make sure on futures you're looking for an entry around about 56.22. Bias is fully bearish. $56.23-ish. Like, or as risk is concerned. Stop would have to be around about 56.69 trading futures, which is a, say, 69, 46 tick risk on futures. Yeah, yeah, there's some oil data in 20 minutes. That could be the catalyst for us for the short. You never know. Let's hang on. I'll hang on a bit. I'll hang on a bit. Reversal on gold is not going to happen. It's coming down, test that support. We'll see. Euro Japanese yen did close above there. I think there's a call here for a stop market buy around about here with a stop loss nice and tight behind here. Take profit into this zone. So we're talking 60,000 units. Oh, it's already moved. I was around. Market. I'm going market. Okay, I'm in a market order here. Every time you do that, the spread goes against you. But I think there's good room here. We're 4 out of 6 on this, but I really like, obviously, with the data is the momentum here. Nice tight stop underneath this zone. Give it a whirl. Still got a bit of while for that bloody data for oil. It is pushing down slowly. So on spot, your entry would be around about 56.27. But on futures, it would be 56.23. But we got to wait. I want to put a stop market order on just before half past the hour. If it breaches that, just don't trade it. This frank's pushing into that resistance now. Remember, resistance is a concrete block. It can be pushed through, and if it's pushed through, the rule's broken. It can just take it away. The gold coming down here. I'm actually thinking a gold futures trade here at 4 4 short at 434.8 GC. I've got an order in 434.8 on gold futures. Stop's going to be around about 4456.5 above the data window there. Learning from this US, I mean, again, I haven't traded forex for a long time. Learning from this and making it risk-free too soon is when I get another data play like this, I will leave the stock where it is, let it breathe, let it run, because it's just regaining that now. So again, been so used to trading futures that okay, I'm in on the gold short. Just put a stop there. I've only got one contract, it's a large risk. stop's been taken out on European Japanese yen. Wow, euro's coming down as well. Look at that. Could be a call for a short on 6B here as well, I think. I'm going short 6B and with a stop around about 13,504 and a profit target what 13,430. Doing a similar thing on GBP USD here for a sell stop around about here. I'm already in the 6B trade. Let's change that to 20,000. Spread to consider. Okay. Not a lot of room for the euro there. Will it be a good day or a bad day? Water. Checking the data. Thank you. Quite a bit of resistance there. Bit different on. I'm not liking NQML. If you want to go long, it's a tough trade, that one. Still considering oil short, can break the London Open. Just giving it a little bit more time, some data coming out in about 8 minutes. Morning, Otis. You forgot it was Wednesday. All days merge into one during Christmas and New Year. It's very hard to get into the groove again. Okay, 5 minutes for a bit of oil data. Only interested in the short on oil outside the London opening range. If it rebounds long, not interested because the bias is very bearish. So I'll probably put the order on with a minute to go, maybe 2 minutes to go because I've got to do futures on forex. Well, stop. I'm liking the odds here. I'm going to go very tight and stop underneath here. Okay, so with CL, two contracts, 56.23. Here's my voice. Put the order on for oil futures. Put this order on here. It might not react. Just going to put that above there. I'll tell you why. I don't like the spread. Okay, Otis, yeah. Yeah. Again, subscribing to the YouTube channel is very important because um, it's not set days. It's when I've got time and I can trade and there's things setting up. So it might, so this week I was on Monday. It's been Wednesday as well. Will there be something tomorrow? Don't know. Not got a crystal ball. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will get alerted. So the Zoom's only once a week, but YouTube live stream could be 2, 3 times a week. Depends on my schedule and what's happening in the markets, really. Checking so far. So in this situation, futures always leads these spot trades to data. There's always a lag. This 10-minute candle we're currently on doesn't take me and I'll cancel the orders. What I'm going to do in the future on the lives, I will stick to range breakout trades and confluence trades only. Okay. And those range breakout trades will obviously be data plays as well, I think. The British pound's not in yet. Wow, this is definitely cancelled territory. Certainly not going to do the reversal into that lot of rubbish. I'm going to call it a day here, actually. Got some work to do. Loads of messages to catch up on now and emails. But a good day. Found some good stocks on those on the stocks Predator. Some really interesting stocks. So it'd be good to see how they play out. I will try and get back on this week, depending on what's happening. not traveling till next Wednesday evening now. So I won't be able to do next Wednesday's midweek market madness because I'll be going to the airport. Okay, so I'll cancel that on Zoom very shortly because I've had to change my flights. It's been cancelled because of the bad weather. Thanks, guys. I'll see if I can get in this week, but don't forget, next Wednesday I won't be here because I've had to change my flight, so I'm traveling next Wednesday. Cheers, everybody. Take care.